Hi, welcome to Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. To ask you a question for you principals who are new and for some of the principals who are not new. Do you remember the time when you were a first-year teacher? How many of you remember that? Some of you have to say, oh yeah, now I remember. And have you ever thought about the reason that you stayed in teaching? Have you thought about that? How many of you if you just take a minute and think about it, why were you successful as a teacher? What was it? Who was it that was there for you? Who was there when you just didn't know what to do? Who was there when you just didn't understand what you were teaching? Who was there? Who was there? How many of you can recall that there was somebody there that was for you? So, if you are a principal, if you are an assistant principal, and you are the person that's responsible for mentors for our new teachers, then this is for you. If you know that this is one way to retain teachers, if you are a mentor, then this is for you. So tonight, what we'll be talking about is 3 approaches to help mentor new teachers. That's right, 3 approaches to help mentor new teachers. So before we start talking about the 3 ways, we're going to be talking about 3 ways, 3 approaches to help mentor new teachers. So if you are a principal, say in the chat, me. If you are an assistant principal, if you are a counselor, instructional coach, say me in the chat box, because we have some information tonight that I know as a principal, I did not do a good job of it. At least I thought I didn't do a good job. Consciously, maybe I did, but as far as having a format down to address my new teachers, my mentees, my mentors, I just missed the mark. So if you are one of the people who is responsible for mentoring new teachers or mentoring a teacher who's been there for a couple of years or 3 years, and remember, last year, everything just kind of went out the window. Who was mentoring me? Who was mentoring the veteran teacher? So we're going to try again. This time, we have interviewed our teachers. Most of us, we feel as though we are ready to go with our new teachers. And to be honest with you, some of us have our permanent substitute teachers, and we're going to have to mentor them. You know, if you are in a rural school district or if you're in an urban school district, it's tough to get teachers. And once you do get them, we want to keep them. You know, research says that between the first year and the 3rd year of teaching, we lose about 30% of our teachers. That's right. We lose about 30% of the teachers. And some of the things that I'm going to be telling you tonight will help you to be able to mentor those new teachers. Hopefully, if you have a process, then you will be able to keep those teachers 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. If you are a school that is in need of improvement, it is definitely hard to find those teachers, and it's quadruply hard to keep those teachers. So tonight we'll be talking about new approaches to help those mentor teachers. Now, I know mentor teachers was not high on my checklist of things to do. It really was not. It really was not. And if you can think back to the days when you were a new teacher, were you a part of a program, an official program sponsored by the school district to mentor teachers? I know the majority of us were not, we just kind of got somebody who was a veteran teacher and you say, oh, mentor this new teacher. And that's pretty much the way it went. You just use your conference period and they use their conference period because you were probably teaching the same content. And you just kind of helped them the best way you knew how. That's how we went. But I'm saying that there is a better way. There is a better way to mentor our new teachers. So let's, before we roll, let's hit that share button because we have some principals out there, some assistant principals, some instructional coaches who need to hear this because this is not on their radar right now. They need to hear this. They need to understand what we can do to mentor our new teachers, our second-year teacher, third-year teacher, to help them stay in the profession. So hit that share button. Let them know that they need to come on and find out about this thing that is just so important. Well, I guess you want to know. You know who I am. A lot of people don't know who I am. My name is Barbara Polk. Dr. Polk is what they refer to me as. I am known as a turnaround principal. I was chosen by the Texas Education Agency to go into schools that were identified by the state as low performing. And I was also accepted into the Harvard Graduate School of Education, their urban institute, so that we could come together as teams to find out what we could do to help our schools that were in need of improvement. So what are we going to do as mentees and mentors to help our teachers, our new teachers? I guess some of you say, well, we got some other folks that need to be mentored too, but we're going to focus just on our new teachers. The thing that new teachers need, and let's go back a minute. With the certification process, as we know it, we have so many new teachers who have gone through the teacher preparation program. They've gone through something like Texas Teachers or the different kinds of programs that were available. So that meant that they have had an opportunity to work in a classroom, get some kind of assistance. And when they actually get a contract, some of them have a contract right there in that school, teaching the same thing they were teaching. Others, they get an opportunity to teach in a building under a principal that they don't know, students they don't know. And if they are in an urban school, they may find themselves having to teach 2 or 3 or 4 different subjects, 3 or 4 preparations. And that is a big burden. That is a big burden on our teachers. So let's consider the things that the new teacher has to go through. And that is, we know we do a good job during our professional development explaining to our teachers our observation protocol, our observation criteria. But with our new teachers, we absolutely have to make sure that they understand that process and they understand the techniques by which they're going to be evaluated. They need help in classroom management. They need help in identifying different types of issues in the classroom. They need to know the expectations for the year. Now, as new teachers, there's something that I know principals that you are concerned about, and that is when you have a teacher who is brand new, usually in February or March, it is time for you to make a recommendation to determine whether you want to extend a contract to that teacher or if you want to non-renew that teacher. So that means at the beginning of the school year, you don't have a lot of time to waste. You have to have some type of program in place to be able to mentor that new teacher. Because remember, the purpose of getting a new teacher is not to write them out. The purpose of getting new teachers are to help them. And usually we find our most experienced teacher or a teacher that is having lots of success, and we assign them to mentee another teacher, a new teacher. So there's some things that you need to have, principal, in place to make sure that our new teachers are being mentored in a way that's going to provide them all the success they need. Think about this. You and the superintendent are responsible for that new teacher. That's right. You are responsible for their success. The superintendent decided to recommend you for that position. And I know lots of y'all are new as well. This just comes along with the territory. This is what's going to aid in your success for making sure all of your children get what they need. So you are responsible. You're responsible for that teacher's success. You are not 100% responsible. Of course, that teacher has some responsibility in that as well. But you are responsible for their success. You are not responsible to go around and find every little thing that's wrong with them. Some of them just don't know. And that's the purpose of having a mentor. That is the purpose of having a mentor. So we talked about first that there's one approach. You have to have an experienced teacher who's going to mentor that mentee. And mentoring a teacher is a process. It's a process. It's not just something that you do today and you forget about it tomorrow. Let me make a confession there. As you begin the school district, and there's so many things going on, you want to make sure you have everybody in place. You want to make sure you have all the student schedules completed. You want to make sure that your cafeteria is together. You want to make sure that your parking is together. You want to make sure that you have the right person teaching the right subject. You want to make sure that everybody's credentials are in place. And then you receive an email from central administration that says you need to have a mentor for teacher X, Y, and Z. You may end up sometimes with 3 new teachers and maybe 4 new teachers. And I'm also recommending to you, principals, if you have substitutes, add them to your list. How you're going to do that, you get with your team and y'all develop a plan to include that substitute teacher. So you are going to choose a mentor. And usually you choose your mentor based upon the subject that they're teaching. You want to at least have somebody who's teaching the common content or the same grade level, okay? Then you want to be able to work as a team, you, principal, along with your mentee and your mentor. You want to understand that you are concerned about that new teacher's emotional support. You want to provide professional development for them, and you want to provide a calendar when all of this is going to take place. That's the way it's done. Principal, you are ultimately responsible for designing that plan. You develop the program. If your school district does not have that program, you develop that program. You develop that program, or you have your assistant principal, or you have your instructional coach, or whatever team members that you want to assign to develop that mentor program. I'm telling you, if you don't do that, you are going to be surprised at time for renewal when a teacher, and it's not going to come directly. It's not going to come, the teacher's not going to tell you directly. You're going to hear it through the grapevine. You're going to find out that this great new teacher that you have not been mentoring properly, is not coming back. That's the way you're going to find out. And you're going to also find out that when you don't mentor those teachers, you are going to have a gap in your instruction. That's just all of that comes together. So let's look at the benefits of the mentor and the mentee. You want to be able to have that mentee time to observe their mentor teacher. You chose that person as your mentor teacher because they are an experienced, excellent teacher. So having time set aside, and that's part of your program, having time set aside so that mentee can be in that classroom and observe instruction. Remember, we talked about observation techniques, how to handle classroom management. And when they have their mentor teacher right there in front of them, they have the lesson plan right there in front of them, and they're usually teaching the same subject, the same content, or the same grade, so that they can talk about what they actually saw in that classroom. And they're going to have a relationship with their mentor teacher, and they're going to discuss with them what their struggles are. So you have your mentee to observe, and then you have your mentor to model. That's all it is. That's all it is. So when I go into a school and I find that we have a new teacher to be observed, I find out who that new teacher mentor is. Sometimes there's nobody mentoring that teacher. She's just doing the best she can. And especially if we are in rural schools, we find that there's nobody there who has a schedule or has the opportunity to sit and model for that new teacher, because it's just not enough teachers. It's just the way it is. And then if you are in an urban school district, you don't set aside the time to work with that mentor teacher, that mentee teacher. So in your program, have regular time set aside with the principal, with the mentor, and with the mentee. So what does that do? That shows that mentor teacher, first of all, I am interested in what you're doing with this mentee. Secondly, it lets that mentee know that the principal is concerned about me. The principal wants me to do well. And then that principal has a better idea of what's going on. Now, I know I've said it and you've heard it from everybody else. Principals, you need to be in those classrooms. And we know in reality, that's where we would like to be. But lots of times we just don't get there. That's when we have our mentor teachers who are there to support us, who are there to work with that mentee, who are there to model for that mentee. That is what makes it successful. That is what makes a teacher want to say, you know, I had a pretty tough year this year, but I had a mentor teacher who was there to support me. And then that mentor teacher is the person that is ultimately going to be responsible for that, to prevent that teacher from leaving. That's right. That mentor teacher. I know you say, well, what about the assistant principal? You know what the assistant principal is doing. You know, the assistant principal is handling discipline. He's in the cafeteria. He's in the gym. He's in the halls during transition. She's dealing with an irate parent. So who is there to support that teacher? It's especially that new teacher who is jittery, who's afraid of making mistakes, who has made mistakes, and there was nobody there to support them. So as I go into buildings, I understand that this is something that really just kind of falls through the cracks. Because when you principals, especially you new principals, when you were in your certification programs and you got your master's degree in educational leadership, this was not a hot topic. This was not a hot topic. There's so many things that have to be covered during the program, but the mentorship is not one that is high on the list. However, this is something that's going to make your campus successful. This is what's going to make you successful as a principal. And this is what's going to help your children to be successful, especially those schools that are in need of improvement. This is a key component. So as you prepare for this school year, and I know you're doing 100 things, principals, but as you prepare, if you do not have a mentor program within your school district, principals know, add this to your list of things to do. And this is one of the really, really important things to do. Add this to your list of things to do. And that is a mentorship program for your new teachers. And don't forget to include your permanent substitute teachers. Add this to your list. So before we close today, and this program today is one that you are going to find is going to bring you lots and lots of support for the new teachers, and bring you support too from those other teachers who are observing you and saying, yeah, she's really looking out for those new teachers. She's really looking out for those new teachers. So if you have any questions at this time about mentoring teachers, because, like I said, I don't think I did a very good job of this. I knew I had teachers that needed to be mentored. And I just asked, some of my best teachers to mentor them. I did not monitor them the way I should have. And I know that I did not have a program, and I should have. But I depended upon my team to support me. And that is why we had successful programs. But it should be provided to all of your teachers who are new, a mentor program, a mentorship program. And you will find that if you have vacancies in the future, and if you have taken good care of your new teachers, they will start doing referrals themselves, saying, this is a good place to be. This is a good place to be. And they will see if you have vacancies in certain areas, and all of a sudden, you in your school that has difficulty getting teachers in, all of a sudden, you're going to find that you're going to start getting teachers in. And it's because you are building good teachers. And someday, not in the too far away future, you will have those mentees being mentor teachers themselves. So as we close our episode for today, remember, we are Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. We'll see you next time.